Okay.
Good morning. Uh, I am supposed to give you my note on the problems and prospects of the new generation veterinary professionals of India. In fact, 25 years ago, when we sat down to prepare the minimum standard of veterinary education, the first objective or the first task before us was to determine the objective of veterinary education or the competence that we expect from veterinarians working in the field after the veterinary education. That means the work or the competence expected out of the greenhorns or the new generation vets who work in the field. Things have drastically changed, but during that time, it was a portion, it was a task that was combined with health, production, technology, community development, and clinical practice. It was not clinical practice in isolation at all. Much of things have not changed, and we were expected to brief or educate workers, primarily work as a leader of a team. A team means a veterinarian with a para staff and other subordinate staff to work as a leader of a team who serves the community, ensuring the welfare of the animal so that it's not an isolated welfare of the animal, but it's a welfare of the animal to be useful to the farmer who rears it. In fact, as per Professor Odenthal, veterinary practice is a system in which there are three major components, namely the patient or the animal, the client or the owner who brings the animal, and the veterinarian. Of course, other elements are there like the para staff and supporting staff of the veterinarian, the community in which the owner lives, and the group in which the animal lives, whether it's living in isolation or in a group, whatever it is, and the species the animal. But mainly a system works on these three components: interaction and interdependence. Now, we are supposed to work as a team and advise the farmers on a good animal rearing pattern which are suitable to their need, and mostly using resources available and in the reach of those people. That means available and affordable to those people. The second aspect is to educate them to provide optimum housing facility, adopt proper breeding time and proper timing of production so that they earn maximum out of what they produce. The third objective was to ward off communicable diseases from animals and animal products to the community. And of course, the fourth and the most important task is to develop an attitude of compassion for the community, for the animal, for your colleagues, and maintain an ethical practicing system. Now, times have changed. After 25 years, attitudes have changed. Our rural life is dwindling very fast. Opportunities in the urban areas are attracting people towards cities. However, migration involves mainly the youth, the able-bodied, and the younger generation who are forced to leave the family, old people, and the female folk and very young children behind. Naturally, there is a sense of insecurity and isolation at both ends because the migrant is moving to a new place where he has to find his shelter and earning opportunity in a strange atmosphere, readjust himself. He feels isolation. The people at home do feel isolation in the sense that the head of the family is no more to protect them and provide them timely help physical and mental. Now, second aspect is this is about the poor. The rich and the more endowed one or more educated ones, they do migrate to seek urban jobs, and they too find things different in an urban area. They have to adjust for the time being. But what is happening in the whole gamut of social change is the isolation of the old family system, joint family system, into a satellite family system. The urban rich moves into flats, multi-story flats, where optimal housing, optimal arrangements are there, and isolation is inevitable or an emerging factor. It's a strange phenomena. It is the same phenomena that involves the poor who is migrating into the slum and the rich who is migrating into flats, because they are brought up, they are bringing themselves into a new environment, and an environment which is more congested but individually isolated, because people living in flats or in slums, they have very little time or freedom to involve and indulge among themselves. The old joint family system had a sense of relief and stress relieving factor which is absent. Now, coming to the veterinary practice, the trend of veterinary practice from livestock keeping is slowly vanishing from the cities and partly from the rural areas as well. The clientele does not include predominantly the cattle. We can find pet and companion animals reaching the veterinary hospital more often than it used to. Even for a slum dweller, he finds the street dog a companion to indulge and involve himself with. Feeding the animal, petting the animal gives him a lot of stress relief. And in fact, there are slums in which they keep poultry and employ them for cockfight or as part of entertainment and so on and so forth. The urbanites finds relief in, and especially the children who have to move out of their house and travel far away into the schools. They come back home where both father and mother leaves the family, leaves home and comes late. The child who comes home comes in a situation of isolation and finds the TV or the cell camera or the smartphone as a source of relief. But wherever there is a possibility, pets have become important in their life because they give an opportunity to interact and indulge with, and they receive the youngsters, provide them companionship, and provides them an attitude of caregiving, which usually does not come normally in a child, because a child is always a care-seeking one. So there is an elevated role or an emerging role of pet animals and pet animal practice and veterinary practice, and this will have to be recognized, and what we have to equip the students or the new students or the greenhorns to get into that, develop that attitude. Olden days, it was always a government job that the veterinarians used to seek. Today, and the private practice was, few and far away. Today, there is an increasing amount of demand for private veterinarians. People like to go off their office hours, move into a consultancy of a clinician and get their animals treated or cared for. So this change also has to be reflected in our education or practice system. The third and the most important part is the need for specialization, the need for study of animal behavior. In fact, Professor S.J. Sodenthal used to insist on this very aspect of animal veterinary ethology, which involves the study of animals vis-a-vis the human being. A veterinarian, as per Professor Sodenthal, veterinary practice is a system involving three components like the client, the animal, and the veterinarian. Because if the veterinarian cannot work in isolation, if the client doesn't bring the animal over, animal cannot come on its own to the veterinarian, and the client cannot treat the animal. So all of them are interdependent and interacting, and their optimal interaction leads to success of a good client. So our main aim or the future demand of the country is to provide optimal care, and the care that envisioned by the community, or the dream of the community, or the mission of the community, vision of the community, by matching our mission to their dream or vision or objective. So that sort of a change is a must, and our future depends upon, future of the veterinary profession depends upon how successful we train our professionals. And the fourth aspect that is very, very important is the role of specialization. A veterinarian can treat anything from a bird to an elephant, but he cannot provide specialist care. Just to give an example, when you talk about seizure and epilepsy, they are entirely two different entities. Seizure is a phenomenon which happens once in a while. Epilepsy is something which can occur unknowingly or suddenly in a continuous manner in an animal. So the approach to both are different. Third, one more example I can give, paralysis. There can be, or nerve damage, nerve defect or paralysis. One can find 18 different reasons why an animal is incapacitated. So a veterinarian can treat by using the standard medicaments or standard package of medicines, but if you want to isolate or identify the cause and treat the animal and provide the prognosis or the right type of treatment, success may have more, and the frequency of success would be definitely much more. So friends, our attitude will have to change. We have to have primary veterinarians working with the primary health care and treatment, and the specialists. Often we may have to go in for super specialists as well. So let us hope that we shape our future education system into a primary veterinary unit, a support system in which administrative supply and specialist support is available. And then there has to be an administrative system which can take care or manage or link. Their main role is role identification of each sector: primary veterinarian, the specialist veterinarian, the super specialist veterinarian, the administrator, and prepare a linkage among all these things. So let us hope we envisage on a good professional efficiency development through the new system that has to be available with us, and which will provide the profession the apt recognition that we direly need. Thank you.